happy, I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh. Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've gone to look for America.
Hey, it's Nate, and today I am doing America by Simon and Garfunkel. What can I say about this one? It is just a perfect song. Listening to it is like watching a film, and it is so moving. I've been really enjoying playing and singing it, and I think you will too. Let's jump in. Okay, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link in the description that'll help you follow along and see where the chords and the lyrics line up with each other. We'll start out with the intro. Here's the chords to that, and this is the same as a good chunk of the verses as well. First, we've got a D major chord. We've got A, D, and F sharp in the right, so it's an inversion, and with my first finger in the left, I am playing a D. And now this is middle C here, just so you get the octave. Next, we've got a D over C sharp. So the right hand's going to stay the same. Just the slash C sharp means that the bass note is a C sharp with our second finger. Next up, we've got a B minor. So of course, we're going to go to this B bass note with my third finger, but all that needs to change in the right is the A comes up to a B. So B, D, and F sharp. And then all we got to do here is drop that bass note to an A again. Let's just finish it off. We've got a G here. This is an inversion as well. Notice our first finger stayed right where it was. I sort of stretched up here to use my second finger and fifth finger on D and G, using my fifth finger on a G bass note down here. I'll talk about the time signature in a second, but the easiest, simplest way to play through this is to just think 2 hits per measure. So nice and slow, 1 hit on the D, 1 hit on the D over C sharp, and then for each measure of G, 2 hits. And if you prefer, you can feel everything in the song that way. It keeps it nice and simple. But technically, we're going to do this in 6/8 time, so each of these measures gets 6 counts. That means that what we are just doing is playing on count 1 and 4 of every measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But from here on out, I'm going to be doing more of an active pattern so we get some of that groove going. So that's going to be left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, and so forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the playing pattern that I'm going to be using for the rest of the song. One more detail before we move on. You'll notice on the chords and lyrics chart, there's a little asterisk on the second G. That's because throughout the song, when we've got the 2 measures of G, on the second G, he'll often do these little alterations of the chord that sounds really cool. Essentially what we're doing is just taking the bottom 2 notes of that right hand voicing and just stepping them up to the next white keys. And since we're using 1 and 2 here, it's really smooth to just do 1 and 3 there. And now just notice that's a C major chord there. As for the rhythm, you could throw that in on beat 3 of that measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if you want to get a little fancier and closer to Paul Simon's guitar playing, you can use the ands between the beats. Do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can do whatever creative rhythms you come up to for those alterations. He doesn't do it the same way every time. And of course, the simplest way to do it is to not do the alteration at all, and that still sounds fine. So the full intro with the humming underneath is going through these 4 measures twice, and he actually only does that alteration thing on the second repeat. And that leads us into the first verse, which is going to look like this. And you essentially already know the first half. That first line is the exact same as a line of the intro, and the second line starts the same, but we get to that B minor and we play it for 2 measures.
Let us be lovers, we'll marry our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. This next line has 2 new chords in it. We're gonna have an F sharp minor 7, and I'm actually gonna do this 1, 2, and 4, just so it flows with the other chord. So A, C sharp, and E in the right hand, and F sharp in the bass. And then that flows really nicely to the B7. I'm gonna put my second finger on the B bass note there, and we're gonna keep the A there, and we got a D sharp and an F sharp there. And it just goes back and forth here, 1 measure per chord, and it plays each chord twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're gonna come up to this E major chord, and it's the same inversion shape as the D we've been doing, just stepped up to B, E, and G sharp. I'm gonna have to move my left hand up a little higher to put my first finger on this E here, and that's just for half the measure. 1, 2, 3, stepping down to that D. I'm gonna use my second finger there. 1, 2, 3. Now this is a little weird here. We've got 1 measure of 3 here. 1, 2, 3 before we kind of start over on that main walk down thing we've already learned. I think I'll finger that A the same way we did when F sharp was the bass note and it was an F sharp minor 7. So 1, 2, 4, A, C sharp, E, but this time it is just a regular A major. So I've got the A in my 5th finger in the left hand there. And then little quirky here, when we get to this D, you're gonna want to move your first finger back to the D so that when we walk down here, we've got fingers left for the G. And walked off to look for America. Now notice I got really loud there for a second when we landed on the G. A great thing about this song and a lot of Simon and Garfunkel recordings are these big dynamics. So it's really hushed and quiet. And then you hear that drum hit. And so I'm just gonna be riding those dynamics throughout. One final note on the verse. That measure that I have marked with 3/8 time, that you're on the A for 1, 2, 3. For each of those counts, you can do a walk up in the left hand bass notes, and it's going to be on A, B, C sharp, leading into the D. That's where we're going to tuck the thumb in. And walked off to look for America. It's just a little tricky there with the rhythm between the hands. Look for to keep the pattern going, you got to hit the A's on the B and the C sharp. But that happens on the recording. It's a really nice touch. Let me do one more slow playthrough of the entire verse together, and then we'll keep cruising. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So whatever alteration you want to do there. Okay, then we are in verse 2. It's gonna look like that. The first line is the exact same, just different lyrics. Kathy, I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh, Michigan seems like a dream to me now. So this line is really similar, but instead of doing the walk down like that as before, we're actually going to go to an F sharp minor there. So of course the bass note needs to go down to an F sharp. The only thing that needs to happen from this D to get there is to just do a C sharp there. So dropping that middle note down. Michigan seems like a dream to me now. Now this part's a little different as well. It took So we're just hanging out on an A major chord here. And we're going to start there with the fourth finger in the left hand. I'll do the 1, 3, 5 for this, but it's the same A, C sharp, E as we did before. And over the course of these 2 measures of A, I'm just going to, at some point, take over my first finger on that bass note so that we're ready to go even lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going back to that E that we had before. But this time I'm gonna do the lower octave for the bass note. It's a little bit more powerful this time. And then for this A, which we're gonna come back up to the first finger for the bass note, I'm gonna do a higher inversion. You could hop down to that, but this sounds a little closer to the recording here. And it just sounds nice and bright with that higher A in there. So it's gonna be C sharp, E with the second finger, and fifth finger on A. And then we're back to that same E, once again, just for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. And then we're landing on this beautiful D major 7. So coming down to this low D bass note here with my fifth finger. And then we're gonna need C sharp, F sharp, and A. And that lasts for 2 measures. So the last line here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move left hand, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, a little detail here. Once I'm on these D major 7s, just to get ready for the pattern I'm going to do in the bridge, which is coming up in a moment, I'm going to start just doing these octaves on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would consider this optional, but I think it sounds nice. I've gone to look for America. Okay, because then we're in the bridge. Laughing on the bus. So here are the chords to the bridge. We're going to start on the C major 7, and I'm going to be thinking about the octaves this whole time. I'm going to keep doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 low octave, high octave pattern for both of these lines here. And then the right hand is going to do B, E, and G. And we're on that for 2 measures, followed by D major 7, just like we finished out verse 2 doing. And actually, just to put across the change in vibe that we get for the bridge, I'm going to switch up the playing pattern and just hit gently on every single count. Like that. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. And then it repeats around, same 4 measures again. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. Love this chord change here. I said be careful. So G major 7 here, I'm doing essentially the B minor in the right hand, B, D, and F sharp, but with the G bass note. His bow tie is really a camera. So notice we're just switching back to that main descending figure that we had in the intro and the verses. And as soon as I hit that, I'm gonna back off the volume and just go right back to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, left, right feel. There is something a little different here. We've got this 1 measure of the B minor over G sharp. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just gonna move my 4th finger to the G sharp. 1, 2, 3, a full measure of that. And then we can use our 5th finger on the G. And it's just 1 measure of G, no alteration there or anything. And then we're in verse 3. Here's the chorus to verse 3. It is literally the exact same as verse 1, of course, different lyrics. But then we go into verse 4, my favorite part of the song. Here's the chorus to that. Notice the first 3 lines are the same thing we did for verse 2. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I knew she was sleeping. I'm empty and aching and I don't know why. So we went to the F sharp minor and then counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike. I'm going to go to octaves there. And this is the part, this verse, just like the admission and then the sudden shift to just the imagery, like it just really, it gets me. Maybe I just miss living in New York City. But anyway, we're going to be full on octaves here. This is, of course, the climax of the song. They've all come to look for America. I'm hopping around octaves here. You could finger it the same way with single bass notes as before. But so New Jersey Turnpike, they've gonna come up to the high E here, probably come down to the low E octaves here. All come up to A here to look for America. You could go higher. Whatever sounds best on your piano. Every piano sounds a little different in this range. And then what we've got here is just two more passes of that. All come to look for America. And then one more time before we are in the outro. Here's the chords for the outro. Should be pretty familiar so far. Then here's a little curveball. So we're just doing that main walk down figure, although just notice I'm going to use my second finger on the D and step down to the fifth finger on A rather than like we were doing it before. Okay, now we're going to come up to this E minor. Our first finger can stay where it is in both hands. So first finger and then B, E, and G. And then we just got 1, 2, 3, step the bass down to D while keeping the right hand the same. Then we've got this A7 over C sharp. So really we're going to an A7 chord here with A, C sharp, E, and G. And then for the first time you hit the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C sharp with the third finger down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it just loops around. And on the recording, it just starts fading out, which is hard to do just on the piano. So I'll probably just go around a few times, and then to end it, I'll just hit a D. Maybe even do octaves in the left hand. I think that sounds nice and final. And then the song is over. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full playthrough so you can see how all these parts fit together. If you enjoy this, please give the video a like. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. All right, here is my version of America.
Let us be lovers, we'll marry our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag. So we bought a pack of cigarettes and Mrs. Wagner pies and walked off to look for America. Kathy, I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh, Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've gone to look for America. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said, be careful.